One of the things that makes this game so fun but so frustrating is that you have complete control over your car, or at least you should. Most of us don't really, and so you and I are gonna fix that today. Not literally today, you can't master car control in a day, but I can give you the framework to make it a lot easier moving forward. If you're struggling to learn new mechanics, or you're just flopping around on the field so much that you can't tell the difference between your Rocket League game and a regular soccer game,
there, no contact made.
then this video is for you. We're gonna look at the mind-muscle connection and how it relates to Rocket League more than any other esport. And then I have a bunch of useful tips to improve muscle memory in Rocket League specifically, plus some super cool research I found about a kind of counterintuitive way to improve muscle memory like twice as fast. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this concept alone is so new to the esports world that it has made this video my favorite to record ever. Rocket League is unlike any other esport because of the freedom of movement that it gives us. We have one-to-one control over all of the aspects of our car's movement in 3D space, and for that reason, the coordination needed in-game is a lot more similar to the body movements needed in traditional sport. Now let's start off with a term called proprioception. If you've never heard of it, it's essentially what people refer to as our sixth sense. Proprioception is our sense of orientation and movement of our body. Think of it like if I close my eyes, I can still touch my fingers together even though I can't see where they are because I can sense them with proprioception. Now we can't perfectly mimic this in the game because there are some sensory receptors that we're missing. But we can get pretty close with just hand-eye coordination and some very specific types of spatial visualization. But there's a lot to this coordination, and I think there's three main areas that you'll see where you need this the most. The first one is just learning new mechanics, especially difficult aerial mechanics, and even especially things involving air roll, since that really tests your orientation. Second is recoveries, maintaining momentum and control of your car, no matter how awkwardly you're landing. And finally, awkward shots, especially the ones above or behind you, because that inverts the camera position and again really tests your orientation. Now, when we're building this mind-muscle connection, a lot of that starts with visualization. We need to maintain a firm mental picture of our car's position so that we don't get tripped up by any inversion of the camera and we can still input accurate movements. Now there's a few ways we can improve this visualization. First, hop into free play and do some basic mechanics driving around the field. As you're doing this, try to visualize how your fingers are making inputs into the controller. You can even look down at them for a second to reorient yourself, but notice how those finger movements influence the movement of the car. I know this sounds super weird, but this will actually help your brain better understand how this controls these, which controls this, which controls that. To take this even further, let's go through a couple quick things that you can do to improve this visualization. First, look at your car, not the ball, when you're awkward. I notice so many players tunneling on the ball when they're flopping around trying to land properly using only their peripheral vision. Take half a second, look at your car, turn off ball cam if it's particularly awkward. You'll see a lot of pros turning off ball cam right at the point of impact so that they can keep their orientation consistent for the landing. And then you can focus back on the ball once you've oriented yourself and you're ready to hit it. You'll find this easiest to practice on kickoffs. Practice turning off ball cam after the kickoff and taking just a moment to shift focus solely onto landing cleanly and gaining your momentum going in the direction you need it. Just this in general will have a big impact on your game, but it'll also improve your coordination and your orientation. Another way to improve this visualization is to watch pros play. I recommended this to Wayton in his recent video because by watching their mastery of car control, our brain can actually start to learn just through seeing their level of fluidity. Here's a quick drill you can do to improve this. Watch a pro do a mechanic that you're trying to learn. Then try to do the mechanic yourself. Then watch yourself trying to do the mechanic back. It sounds simple because it is, but it's also really important because we simply can't fully analyze our actions in the moment. This is why there's often a big gap between how we feel we played and how we actually played if you've ever gone and watched yourself in a replay. To develop solid muscle memory, we need really accurate feedback on how we did. To take this feedback to the next level, having someone else, like a buddy or a coach, watch you play can help you even more.
Speaking of a coach, oh hey, that's me. I'm one of those. And I just joined Medify. And because they love me so much, they're gonna give away 3 free lessons to some of you guys. That's like $120 worth of lessons. These guys are super cool. Leave a comment down below on something you need to work on, and I'm gonna be selecting 3 viewers, 1 from the comments, 1 from Twitter, and 1 from Discord. So follow me on those platforms if you wanna get entered in for all 3 of the lessons. All right, here's the cool stuff. Johns Hopkins Medicine did a study that found a way to nearly double the speed at which you learn a new skill. To test how the brain builds muscle memory, they took volunteers and had them learn a new, difficult task. They had to learn how to move a ball on the screen, right or left, by squeezing a transducer, either harder or softer. The goal was to move it to target locations on the screen in a set pattern as fast as possible. They split participants into 3 random groups. With the first group, they set up a schedule where they would do 2 practice sessions, 6 hours apart, every day. The second group also did 2 sessions, 6 hours apart, but the researchers pulled a little sneaky on them. They played around with the dials a little bit and made slight changes to the sensitivity of the machine for every second practice session of the day. The third group was just a control and only had 1 normal practice session per day. The results? Well, speed and accuracy nearly doubled for the group where they randomly changed the sensitivity on the machine. They found that contrary to what we used to think, if you practice a slightly modified version of a task, you'll actually learn better and faster than if you had just tried to do the exact same thing over and over again. This is actually kind of insane, and it works by hacking a process within the brain called reconsolidation. But the researchers said that the alterations in training have to be small, something akin to changing the weight on a baseball bat or a tennis racket. In Rocket League, we can do this with your settings. Spend some time with a slightly tweaked version of your settings. Maybe increase or decrease your sensitivity by a small amount, or make changes to your camera settings. This will challenge you, but not inherently change any of the fundamentals and shouldn't completely throw you off. If done correctly, this can also generally just help you find settings that you really like. Now, there's a lot that goes into all this stuff, but most of you guys have 0 attention span, so if I put all the sciencey, boring stuff in here, then no one would watch the videos. But I have a compromise. If you like my videos and you want to support me more, then join the Big Brain Club. I'm gonna add extended versions of these instructional videos with all the sciencey stuff that's really cool, but kind of boring to most YouTube viewers. But no matter what, I'll always enjoy making these videos for you guys, so just drop a like, drop a sub if you haven't already, and go practice.